Hi, I'm Vicky, and in today's Daily Pattern we're looking at Acts 21 verses 17 to 36. Have you ever been completely misunderstood? When my husband Luke proposed, I said no. Before I sound like the meanest person ever, let me explain a little bit more. We were in Lydia Park on Christmas Eve, which sounds lovely and romantic, but actually it was freezing cold, and Luke was wearing an awful hat. I was in my second year of uni, so was home for the holidays. Luke started off by saying to me about how great it was that we didn't have to see each other very often, as I was up in Sheffield while he was still in Swindon. And do I want to marry him? No, you've just told me that you like not seeing me very often. But then I realised he was serious and holding out a ring box, so I thought I'd better change my mind. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to misunderstand a genuine offer of marriage. In the first part of today's passage, we see there's also some misunderstanding. Paul arrives in Jerusalem and meets a group of elders, one of whom is James, Jesus' brother. They all praise God together for the works that have been done and for all the new believers, which is fantastic. However, there's also a bit of confusion among some of the Jews and Jewish believers, because they thought that Paul was telling them that they should turn away from the law of Moses and reject the Jewish customs that they've grown up with, when actually Paul just wanted to reassure the Gentiles, so anyone who isn't Jewish, that they don't need to become Jewish in order to follow Jesus. To show that Paul supports Jewish customs, James and the elders ask him to join with 4 other men and be purified, so avoiding anything unclean and also avoiding wine. Now, I'm not sure that I could do this, let alone in lockdown. This vow is explained in more detail in Numbers 6. Paul is happy to do this, and it promotes unity of the church as well as modelling the gospel. In the second part of the passage, we see that despite Paul following the purification rituals and trying to clear up the misunderstanding, there are still some non-believing Jews that are not at all happy, and they decide to stir up a mob to attack him. They falsely accuse Paul of bringing a Gentile into the temple, which would definitely not have been allowed. The rowdy crowd drag Paul from the temple, and they would have killed him, but the Roman commander sends soldiers when he hears about the commotion. Because there was so much unrest, they couldn't work out what on earth was going on. So in the meantime, they arrest Paul so they can get to the bottom of the matter. If I was Paul, I would certainly be more than a little bit miffed at being carried away by soldiers for something that I hadn't done. In being misunderstood, Paul could have given up, but instead he chooses to keep preaching the gospel to both the Jews and the Gentiles. I know that I can definitely be guilty of giving up when I'm not getting my point across. Our challenge for today is to, like Paul, keep to our values and keep promoting the good news of Jesus, even though others may not understand.